We can start by loading the mesh into InstantMeshes to improve its rough structure. I will add a few details here. After exporting the mesh, we can import it into Blender. We delete the default cube and import our object. Right-click, set origin, geometry to origin to center the object. Then we proceed with the orientation by pressing R and selecting the respective axis. Memorizing certain shortcuts will speed up the process. Now we can see the rough details. Right-click and select Shade Smooth to display them properly. Our quad mesh is now in place. As mentioned before, the details have been washed out and could have been finer, but for now, let's assign a basic material. Instead of base color, we select Image Texture. Click on New and then go to Edit mode. Press A to select everything and create a UV map using Smart UV Project. Leave the default settings and click OK. Switch to Texture Paint mode. The texture is already displayed in black. In Texture Paint mode, open the menu on the side by clicking on the arrow or using the N shortcut. Go to Tool and select the Active Tool option. Click on Texture and under Texture, select New Texture to create a new one. We will use the stencil for mapping and then load our desired image onto the texture. I have the front image here, and I can drag it in with a right-click and rotate and adjust its size with a right-click and Control or Shift. Let me adjust the rotation here since we are at a 90 degrees angle and it seems something is not quite right. Now I can use the numlock key to display the perspective. I'm currently trying to figure out how this works. Here it is. You can also do it here. You can see the perspective distortion. When capturing images, make sure you don't have a wide-angle camera or lenses that will distort everything. Nonetheless, let's scale everything up a bit by holding Shift and right-clicking on our image. Then, let's align everything as best as we can. It won't be perfect, but we can live with it for now. I will start by drawing the glasses on or projecting the mesh onto it roughly. We can always refine it later. Let's take a look at it in object mode. We can add a second viewport here. For a first glance, I think it looks quite good. The nose is a bit too low, but that's not a problem. We can fix it later. We can also see some small fragments on top due to the UV map. It's a result of how the projection is divided. You can imagine it like a chocolate Santa Claus wrapped in foil. If you were to unfold the foil, you would have to paint the entire surface. Now, let's fix the beak at the bottom. I will project the beak edge properly here. That looks better. It's a bit in shadow in the photo, but ultimately, we can start painting it. It can be a bit tricky at first because you have to constantly pay attention to scaling, especially since we now have two images. I recommend going back to this perspective view every once in a while to ensure proper alignment. For example, the legs at the bottom need to be scaled down again. Then I need to scale up again. Switching to a different perspective also helps. The downside is that we have lost some details here. But overall, it looks good. As I said, it's important to take good photos and ensure the correct angle.